In this video, I'm gonna show you 3 balanced whole food plant-based bowls, which I really love at the moment. First, we're gonna start with a sweet potato bowl. So you're gonna need 2 big sweet potatoes, cut them in half. Then you need a small or half a big red onion, which you're just gonna roughly cut up and add to an oven tray lined with parchment paper together with the sweet potatoes facing down. And don't make the red onions too small, just like roughly pull them apart. Then you bake them on 200 Celsius degrees for about 25 minutes or until the potatoes are soft. And meanwhile, we are gonna make the most easy and delicious tahini dressing. So for this, we need some smooth tahini, like this one, 2 tablespoons of tahini, and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, a half a tablespoon of maple syrup. Then you just mix it up to combine and until it forms a paste. Then you add some water, a little bit of water at a time until you reach the desired consistency. This can take some patience, but eventually it will look something like this. And now we're gonna prepare the chickpeas. So I'm using 1 can of chickpeas, which I'm adding to a pan together with 1 teaspoon of cumin, a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of chili, and water to cover. Then you want this to simmer on medium heat until the water has evaporated. Eventually the chickpeas will be covered in spices and taste amazing. And then you scoop the chickpeas on the side to make some room for kale. So I'm using about 3 cups of raw chopped kale, and you want to remove the stems. Add a splash of water and then you just wait for it to steam until it's slightly soft, like this frame here. And by this time the sweet potatoes and onions are done. If you want to remove the peel, you can do so. And yeah, they can be quite hot. I like to slice up my sweet potato like this because it's easier to serve it. And now you're gonna assemble a bowl. So start with the kale, then the red onion, the sweet potato and the spiced chickpeas, and lastly but not least, the amazing tahini dressing and some chili flakes because I like it spicy. And there you have it, an amazing Buddha bowl which tastes, yeah, amazing, and it is perfect for cold weather or fall because it is so hearty and comforting, and yeah, you just have to try it. And on to the next one. We are gonna make a tropical bowl, and first we're gonna make a marinade. So we are gonna need 1 tablespoon maple syrup, 2 tablespoons of tamari sauce, 1 teaspoon garlic powder, a half a teaspoon dried thyme, a 1/4 teaspoon dried ginger, a pinch clove. Then you just want to stir it up with a fork or a spoon until it's evenly combined. And now I'm using 200 grams of tofu, firm tofu, which you cut up in cubes, and add them to the marinade. Then you just cover with a lid and give them a shake. Give them a good shake, and then you just place it on the side to let marinate for about 5 minutes. Meanwhile, we are gonna make a mango salsa, because what is a tropical bowl without mango? So for this we need a 1/4 of a red onion, which you want to slice up or chop up in tiny pieces. I like mine really tiny. Add it to a bowl, and then you want to use a really ripe mango, a juicy sweet mango, so a half of a mango, and then you cut it up in cubes. I really like slicing my mango like this. This way it's super easy to just scoop out the cubes like this, and yeah, it's less messy. And then an avocado. Yeah, better luck next time. Adding the avocado cubes into the bowl, and also a half of a lime and a pinch of salt and chili flakes. Then just stir it up until it's combined. Let it sit in the fridge while you're preparing the rest. So on an oven tray lined with parchment paper, you are gonna place the tofu cubes. And don't use all marinade, just save it for later. I will show you why. So just separate them like this and add them to the oven and bake them on 180 Celsius degrees for 15 minutes. While the tofu is in the oven, I prepare my quinoa, so I'm using a half a cup of dry quinoa for 2 people. When the quinoa is done, after about 15 minutes, the tofu is most likely also done. Then it's time to assemble a bowl. Start by adding some lettuce or just whatever greens you like, some cherry tomatoes, the quinoa and the mango salsa and the tofu. And now we're gonna use the marinade that we saved, because this is gonna make the bowl so juicy and just full of flavor. And there we have it. This is so good and all of the flavors go so well together, especially the mango and avocado with a salty and sweet, tangy flavored dressing. It's so amazing. For the last bowl, we're gonna make a burrito bowl. This is one of my absolute favorites since I made it like 1 year ago. Anyway, so we're gonna start with preparing the rice. I'm using brown rice, half a cup for 2 people. While the rice is simmering, we're gonna prepare the cheesy sauce. First, we're gonna add a half a cup of raw cashew nuts into a blender with 1.5 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, a half a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, and a 1/4 cup of water. Then just blend it up. If you don't have a high-speed blender like this one, first boil the cashew nuts for about 5 minutes and drain before adding them to the blender, because this way it's easier to blend and you end up with a much smoother sauce. Set the sauce aside, and now we're gonna prepare the beans. I'm using 1 can of black beans, 2 tablespoons of corn kernels, a half a teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and also water to cover. And let it simmer on medium heat until the water has evaporated. Eventually they will dry out and be covered in spices, and they will be delicious. Now we're just gonna prepare the rest of the ingredients. We need a bunch of veggies, so cut up a few cherry tomatoes. I'm using 6 or 8 cherry tomatoes, and then a half a red onion, 2 tablespoons of fresh coriander. Add it to a bowl and give it a stir until it's combined. Then you can set this aside and chop up a cucumber, a red pepper. You can just switch out the veggies if you like, but I really love red bell pepper, and then also some romaine lettuce. You can also use whatever lettuce. Then you just assemble the bowl. So you start with the lettuce, the brown rice, the cucumber, bell pepper, the tomato salsa, the beans, and lastly the most delicious cheesy cashew sauce, and yeah, some more chili flakes. There you have it, a really filling and nice cheesy vegan whole food plant-based burrito bowl. I really hope you enjoyed this video and you got some inspiration. All of these recipes are in my recipe app, the Fivesec Health app. I will leave a link down below so you can check it out. Until then, we see you in the next one.